Welcome in to another episode of the My Two Bits Gators football podcast. I am one of your hosts, Ben, joined as always by your other host, Mr. Randy. Randy, how are we feeling? What stage of depression have we reached this Monday evening? Are we in acceptance yet? I don't think I am. How are you doing?
Good evening. My name is Randy, and I am a Florida Gator football fanatic. And
Yes, indeed.
I believe I believe I'm at the B stage. I'm bargaining right now. I'm bargaining
Yes.
with a couple different scenarios. I'm bargaining with a coach. I'm bargaining with personnel. I'm bargaining with 2026. Can't
Yes.
come soon enough.
Yes,
Um,
indeed.
I believe I'm in bargaining phase. Yes, sir.
I think I have something about 2026 getting here as soon as possible in the notes tonight. That's funny you say that.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
indeed. Indeed. Well, here it is. One more game week to go. You know, it's funny. We look forward to these so much during the off season, and now it's like, when is it going to end? Well, we'll talk about that. It's been a rough one. Been a rough one, obviously, but we are going to handle this with our standard analysis this evening. Go through our intro here, our mission, our accuracy disclaimer, our vision, and our agenda. Our standard agenda, of course, for our game reviews here. So with that, our mission is to provide factual analysis of all things Florida Gator football. Our accuracy disclaimer is that our information will be accurate to the best of our possible ability. We will cite our sources whenever we use them, and all statistical data comes from either ESPN or stats.ncaa.org, and recruiting data comes from on3.com. Our vision is to have unfiltered conversation around the product on the field, as well as recruiting and overall coaching decisions. Our analysis will be based on review of film, and while we will express opinion, that opinion should always be based in some form of fact. We will also evaluate strategy and tactics and discuss our observation of player personnel decisions, as well as on the field execution. All right. Agenda, as always, we'll start tonight with our exciting plays with the Home My section. We'll then run down the offense in the Chomp segment, the defense in Gator Bait, our complaints from the game in Visor Throw, and then we'll talk recruiting in the Hatchling segment, talk a little culture and Pride of the Sunshine, officiating and Move Back You Suck, and then wrap things up, talk about where we want to go here, how fast we can get to 2026, and play a little keep it or pitch it for this week's game with the Criminals. Before we wrap things up, I do have Sims notes. I actually was able to go back and run Tennessee. Interesting results there. I would say the game pegged that one, interestingly enough. So we'll talk about that. And then, of course, the results for FSU as well. So with that, get us started. Talk to me about what exciting plays we could find from the debacle on Saturday night. Give me your home eyes.
Do we, do we have a minimum? Do we have to find three? Okay,
No, I did too. I did too against Kentucky, man, and I
you
was
did
hard
too.
pressed for
Fair.
me to find that. So yeah,
Fair.
what do you got?
All right, first home my that I have, Jaden Baugh, spin move with 3:55 left in the second quarter to get a very crucial first down,
That's
only
funny.
for us to miss a field goal. But it's okay. He did what he always does. He plays hard, he plays tough, he plays full on. The man doesn't quit. Love the spin move. Didn't get to see as many stiff arms this game. I think we had two or three stiff arms. Would like to have seen at least his quote, hit. He wanted to hit his quote at five, but regardless, great spin move, great control. Can't say enough about Jaden Baugh. He's good. He's very good.
He is good.
Um, First and 10, 2 minutes, 28 seconds left to go until halftime. Was after the Jaden Ball spin move. A couple plays later, DJ Lagway has a 38-yard run. Yo, folks, that is not a joke. DJ Lagway, 38-yard run. Nice breakaway run. In addition, I guess he saw Jaden's spin move. He felt excited and inspired. He had a spin move of his own that picked him up another 10 plus yards. Yay. Um, and then, I had a difficulty with the last one, but I'm just going to put this in because it was so crucial, yet so pitiful, but I'll put it in there. Trey Smack, with 2 minutes, 4 seconds left to go in the third quarter, we score our first points on a field goal. And not just the first score of the game, but it officially extended the nation's longest scoring streak. Thank you, Trey Smack. Oddly enough, we had a controversial bowl game 3 years ago with Oregon State. And, well, I'd say the bowl game was controversial, but we were scoreless. for a long time
Yeah.
until Adam Mahalik comes through and kicks a field goal for 3 measly points. And thank you, Trey Smack. We got a touchdown later, but still. Those are my home eyes, B. Do you have three?
I do have three, and I don't
Fair
know if
enough.
you heard. I don't know if you heard me chuckling, but I was chuckling. We say this a lot, so if you've listened to this before, apologies for the repetition. We do not discuss our notes before the game or before the pod.
Right.
We have our agenda, and we go through and we do our own research. We do all our own talking points. We just have our agenda, just our dots, right, of
Yep.
what our topics are. We do not talk about this before the pod. I can't stress that enough. So we have an entire game worth of highlights. Now, granted, there were not that many highlights in this game, but there are a lot of different things that we could pick. And in this particular game, again, there weren't a ton, but I feel the need to point out that the plays we're talking about here are not ones of huge significance, right? Like
Yeah.
there's not like, these big plays where it's like, oh yeah, of course you picked that one, especially the Jaden Ball run that you called out, which is my first oh my. Um, so it's really funny to me. And that's why I chuckled
Oh,
when you said the first one. And then I chuckled some more with the second one because I have that one too. And I almost had the Trace Mack one because I made it the impact play of the game. I don't, but I did struggle with that as well. I just picked the ball touchdown instead. So it's
out of
just
the
really funny to
backfield.
me
I
how
knew
this
it.
yeah, how this stuff aligns. It's just really funny. So anyway, as you mentioned, first play, run by Ball late in the second quarter. Looks like he's going to be stopped after about 4 yards. I mean, he looks like he's dead to rights, but then he makes, as you put it, a great spin move to beat the first defender. Then a nasty cut to make another defender miss and ends up with a 15-yard gain after what looked like it was going to be stopped for 4 or 5 yards. So just as you said, what Jaden Baugh does, he turns, you know, a little something into something much bigger, and he does this time and time and time again. He would not have over 900 yards rushing. He would probably have about half that in if he was most any other running back in this system, especially this year with the way this O line has blocked for most of the season, with a couple of exceptions in games, but been pretty
They
remarkable
blocked?
what he's done. Yeah, we're going to call it blocking. Yeah. Um,
Okay.
Second play I have is the DJ run up the middle just a couple of plays later. As you mentioned, possibly I would say the most athletic run I have ever seen DJ make with the spin move of his own thrown in, as you mentioned, right? Got that inspiration near the end of it to extend the play by another several yards and turn it into a really, really solid gain. I would have loved to see more of these this year, right? Even in this game, I would have loved to see more of these. As we talked about, he missed some opportunities perhaps to get a couple more of these big ones. But obviously, just not enough big plays from this offense this season, this game, this tenure, right? of the Napier era. Just haven't seen enough, and it's been obviously just a disappointment all around. So my last one, as I mentioned, I did vacillate with it a little bit as you did. I went with the TD to Ball, just simply because of already having called out Trey for keeping the scoring streak alive. In the fourth, TD to Ball, our only TD in the game. Really nice timing on the play call. One of the few things I can say about good play calling in this game, because
Oh,
man, there wasn't much of it. After a lot of runs that we had called, right, and saw that safety sneaking up as was called out nicely by the broadcast team. Always a fan of Herbie and Fowler calling games. You can think what you like of them as terms of some of their opinions, but I think they have a really good feel for the game, and they do call out some nice stuff. I thought that was a good call to talk about the safeties walking up,
right.
and then taking advantage of that. So really, really solid there. And love to see Jaden get the opportunity to get the end zone and to get the score, especially since it was the only one of the game after being pretty much the only player on offense that really stood out during this entire game, right? He deserved that. I'm really glad he got it. I'm really glad that he's gotten, a lot of the scores he's gotten this season and continues to be pretty much the one shining light that we've had all season, right? Compared to a lot of dim ones. So there you go. And that's not to cast shade on anybody else. I think a lot of that is system dependent. The running back is always going to shine brighter in this system because it's the one thing that this offense doesn't do poorly. But having said that, I'm just glad to see him get the opportunity. So with that, move on. Offense. Lagway rating, believe it or not, 104.04. So again, we'll reiterate it. We use the NFL system, and anything over 100 is good. So this was good, believe it or not, despite only being 116 yards, despite only having one touchdown. His completion percentage was decent. His yards per attempt was quite good, right? These are things that drive that up. And of course, no interceptions. So this was an over 100 rating, one of only a couple of times this year that he has managed that. This has not happened very often this season. This was one of a very few. Might only be like the third time that he's cracked 100. I'd have to go back and look, but that's off the top of my head. Also had 4.83 yards per carry. Also very good. That's a solid number. So what's interesting here is you're sitting here going, what do you mean these are good numbers, Ben? Like, how are these good numbers? We were terrible. We were awful. This was a horrific game for us. Well, I would argue that's true, but not necessarily because the players played poorly. I actually think this came down to some really, really good stuff that Tennessee put on film. If you go back and watch this, props to Tennessee here. They made an effective game plan, and that's pretty much going to be the talking points that I have for most of the night. There were a couple things with execution that did stand out to me, to where the line of scrimmage was a problem for us on both sides of the ball. But overall, aside from that, we were actually really pretty good. We just had some real flaws with some things that we tried to do in terms of scheme and execution, and Tennessee conversely did all the things that we did needed them not to do, if you will. So to that end, as I mentioned, I don't think the offense was really actually that bad. When we executed well, we saw really positive results. When we didn't execute as well, speaking to the offensive line there, then we did have some struggles. But overall, it was really the playbook that hit us hard here once again. And I mean Billy's playbook, right? Because that's still what we're using. Somebody else calling it, but it's the same problem. Tennessee, very clearly on film, this is not a good defense, folks. Look at it statistically. Nothing about this defense is good. They give up a ton of yards, a ton of points. They're not a good defense statistically at all. And that's in SEC play, not overall, in SEC play. They were clearly ready for many of the staple plays, right? They kept two safeties deep almost all night, just like we did to prevent their passing, right? Their deep attack. Except what did they do because of that? They varied their approach. We'll talk about that later. Did we vary ours? Nope, sure didn't, because we don't know how to do that, right? We don't have other plays. We got, they got us covered deep. Well, guess we'll have to check down or get sacked because we don't have other options in our playbook. And what happened? Exactly that. And it didn't work because it never does. Because if you cover what we want to do, we're cooked every time. And that's exactly what they did. And then when we tried to throw the underneath stuff, what did they do? They had their best linebacker. I believe his name is Carter. I didn't look it up, so apologies if I'm wrong on that. Number 7 out there was absolutely lighting us up on our bubble screens. He was all over the place, played a heck of a game. He was phenomenal out there. Hats off to him. Really good stuff. Blowing it up, blowing up run plays out of the backfield. I mean, that kid was everywhere. He looked good. And I know he just came back from an injury and really, really had a nice game. So pretty much anytime we threw the bubble screens, pretty much anytime we tried to run stuff off motion, he was just eating it up in the backfield every single time. And again, it was just a really solid game plan by Tennessee to easily defeat our base level playbook. One more week, everybody. One more week. And then this crap goes away. I don't care who the coach is. This goes away. And you don't have to see it anymore. And in the spirit of Thanksgiving, boy, am I thankful for that. So, my closing thought on all this is I will, again, as I mentioned, call out the O-line. Very subpar performance in this game. There were some times where I will say Tennessee got home because of a blitz, and that is not necessarily their fault. But there were other times where, man, we just got flat out beat in run blocking, in pass blocking. I mean, it was not a solid night for this O-line at all. We have had much better games. Heck, we had a better game against Ole Miss, at least in pass blocking. Maybe not run, but in pass blocking, we were better. I don't get it. We cannot put any kind of consistency together. Randy mentioned it the other night, something we thought would be a strength. We've accepted it's not a strength, but there are nights where it's downright terrible. And this was borderline terrible. Borderline. It wasn't as bad as the Miami game, but it was close. And again, this is not a great defense. It's not a great D line. It's not the D line Tennessee had last year, not even close. So like what are we doing? Why are we getting dominated and pushed around by a subpar talented defensive line and by SEC standards? Like I'm not throwing shade. It's not disrespecting Tennessee. This is just what the ratings and the stats for the season tell us. They're not ripping anybody up on the D line. They're giving up yards and not getting a tremendous amount of sacks unless they're blitzing and everything else. Like it just I just don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't understand how with the personnel we have and our two offensive line coaches, once again, we can't get anything done from a consistency standpoint, from an execution standpoint. It's just bad. And it doesn't make any sense. I'm tired of looking at it. And once again, one more game. That's all I got on offense, man. Where you at?
Well said. Ditto.
Yeah, there you
Um,
go.
I don't know how much more else to add, B. You pretty much summed it up. 10404 is good QBR, is
Mm-hmm.
better than good QBR as we use the NFL rating, as
Yep.
we've discussed. Anything north of 100, pretty solid, right? So it's one thing to say, hey, I went 333 at the plate to give the baseball analogy, but you went 1 for 3 instead of going 3 for 9. Instead of going 9 for 27, you just went 1 for 3. You need more at bats.
Yep. That's fair. That's a good way to put it.
We needed a lot more at bats. Oh, by
Yep.
the way, there is a play discrepancy. We got off
Slightly.
we got off 47 plays, folks. Not even
Good
50.
grief.
Okay? You want to take a wild guess how much Tennessee had?
Sure it was in the 80s.
Not quite that high, but hey, 73.
That's
More than
crazy.
enough. More than enough. Okay? Of those 73, well, actually, I'll get to that later because I'll do the breakdown for you. But DJ, 11 for 17, 64.7% completion, 116 yards, one touchdown, zero INTs. A long run of 33, a long pass of 33, two sacks given up. So the 104-04 has to deal with the completion percentage, the touchdown, no interceptions, and the long touchdown or the long, I wish touchdown pass, the long pass to Sturdivant. So those are, I'm sorry, to Baugh. So that did help, yes. Outside of that, this offense continues to haunt. Billy Napier is not there, but it's almost like the offense of Gators past, if you want to put it in a haunting type of way. Or the offense of Napier's past. This offense is so elementary, my dear Benjamin, that it allows a very and actually that's in my notes, a subpar defense like Tennessee to be able to go, oh, look at what they run. Oh, look at how they're positioned. They're going to do this, regardless of the window dressing. We talked about the pre-snap motions. They went down significantly since Napier was dismissed. But it doesn't matter the origins, the design, the construct of the playbook. Even if you take down the pre-snap motion, everything else is the same. And Tennessee, they need to score 43 points a game, right? They're top 5 in scoring in the nation for a reason, but they also need to score 43 a game because their defense is not that good. Almost reminds you of a Pac-12 type deal. But either way, I
Mm-hmm.
digress.
Yep.
I digress. Tennessee, 28 first downs. Good Lord. Net yards rushing, 248. Yikes. Net yards passing, 204. Schnikes. To our Florida, 15 first downs, 145 net rushing yards, 116 passing yards. Total offensive yards, 261 to their 452. Just obliterated, had no shot. Here's the other
Yep.
thing that was really tough. Time of possession. B mentioned it briefly last pod, but we thought TOP was going to be a thing. I thought the Gators would get back to their old ways and, put together some methodical drives and yeah, negatory, Batman. Um, 24-18 time of possession compared to Tennessee's 35-42. The second and third quarter, fairly even, but the first quarter,
Yeah.
10:53 to 4:07.
I'm shocked it was that. Close.
Yep, and then the fourth quarter, 11:31 to 3:29. Huh?
Jeez.
So, folks, you look at it's odd. Billy probably started the game better and ended the game better, right? But the middle eight there, whatever, was the weakest. And with this team, it seems like we start, after Billy's absence, we start slow. We kind of pick it up during the middle, but then we end slow. Huh? Don't get it.
Got,
Don't
got
get it.
me.
Exactly. Uh, Outside of that, 2 for 9 on third downs. That's not getting it done. Jaden Ball, can't say enough about him. 18 rushes, 98 yards, only lost to 96 net, a long of 16, 5.3 average. He's doing everything a kid can do. Everything. Our second leading rusher, DJ Lagway, 10 rushes, 40 yards, a long of 38. He had more yardage, but some of that was taken back. 4.0 average yards per carry. And get this, receiving, yeah, you got Hayden Hansen, you got Sturdivant out there, you got Livingston, Vernell. Okay. Our leading receiver, Jaden Baugh, 2 receptions, 35 yards, a touchdown. What? Folks, Aiden Mizell, 1 target, 0 receptions, 0 yards.
Yeah, it
Vernell
was good. It was a
Brown,
good ball too, by the way.
it was. Vernell Brown, 4 targets, 3 receptions, 14 yards. Tony Livingston, 2 targets, 2 receptions, 22 yards. That's it, folks. That is it. The only thing I can say else, because B, like I said, you summed it up very well. This offense is so vanilla. This season, I'm so tired of it, of eating this frostbitten vanilla great value ice cream. I continue to eat. But even at this point in the game, it was so bad. This defense, again, not that good. But guess what? Eh, this offense is so predictable and so easy to defend against. And not to mention, we made 0 adjustments on offense, especially come out of halftime. Okay. And why? And how? I'm glad what you said, B. It is almost over. Almost
Yeah.
over. Because the other thing that I can't stand for the life of me, especially if something doesn't work, okay, isn't that the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and over again, but expecting a different result.
Well, what's crazy is the one argument I didn't make is the two biggest plays we had in this game were effectively wheel routes. I mean, they weren't maybe technically a wheel route, but you get ball out of the
But
backfield twice on streaking plays, right? I know one got called
correct.
back. We'll talk about that later, but twice that play works and goes for huge yardage. Now, I get once it was because you were setting it up with the run first, but you also had it work earlier in the game, and yet really we only call it twice. Now, I
That's
can't
it.
swear to you that he never ran that route any other time during the game. I don't have the
Sure.
film footage to be able to go back and watch it, but I'm pretty sure he didn't run it 20 times. In fact, I about know that. So it's what's funny is, to your point, is that we run all this stuff that doesn't work time and time and time again and just hope it
No,
will. But the stuff that did work, we're like, well, all right, well, let's make sure we don't do that again. It's
correct.
just that's the mind numbing thing. That's what
It
kills
is.
me.
It is. Maybe it works in FCS in Louisiana, but well, either way, I'll leave that there. Folks,
Yep.
here are our offensive possessions. First possession, punt. Second possession, punt. Third possession, loss. I'm just gonna stop there. It was absolutely
You can't even do it
horrendous.
anymore.
I can't. I can't. It's hard, right? Punt, punt, loss of downs. Punt, punt, field goal missed. Finally a field goal. Punt, punt. What? What? If finally a touchdown. Hey, how about that? It's
All
just
right, stop there. Stop there.
yeah, it's absolutely mind-numbing. So guess what? Offense still bad. Doesn't matter the era, doesn't matter what's going on. And the other thing for that matter is, folks, if you look at DJ on that scramble, I'll just point this out real quick. B and I talked about it before. Is it the ears? Is it 6 inches between the ears? Is it health? Is it he can't deal with losing? Folks, he's healthy. Because if
He's
he's
healthy
not
now for
healthy,
sure.
he doesn't run like that.
Nope.
So what's going on?
Yep. I don't know.
$2.8 million question. Anyways, moving on.
Well, I mean, just one quick rebuttal to that. In this game, I don't know that I could say there was anything wrong with him. He missed one throw to start event that he should have made that would have been a touchdown. Granted, other than that, I can't really fault DJ's play in this game at all. He had a 104 quarterback rating.
Yeah.
He hit the guys he should have hit. Mizell dropped a pass that was in his breadbasket. It was a beautiful ball over the receiver. He layered a couple of really nice throws in to guys that were, and hit them. He throws a perfect touchdown pass to Baugh. I mean, what do you want from him? Nobody was open. We didn't have the ball. Like, the play sucked. Honestly, this game's not DJ's fault. Sorry, it's not. This one ain't on him.
Fair enough, and I'm not saying it's DJ's fault. I just I would hope that these final games to see something different out of him.
I mean,
And
I guess let me ask you, what did you want to see from him in this game, like from a play standpoint? Now, attitude we'll talk about later, but from a playing standpoint, what did you want to see from him that you didn't see? I'm just curious because, like, I don't know what else he could have done.
Well, I'll tell you what. Okay, so it's hard for me to see him have a great scramble. Like, so the vision was good. Now it was a design quarterback run because you saw Jaden Ball come up and block for him, right? So that was fine. He has a great scramble, and then immediately after we go into it, the ball is snapped, and he's stumbling over an offensive lineman. Now, granted, the offensive lineman gets pushed, but it's almost like we can't stack he can't stack a good play on a good play. So there's one example of it. Another example is sometimes when he rushes. So he has a couple of decent rushes in the first half. But when you look at the rushes, when you look at the tape overall, he should go left, but he didn't go left. He went right and goes right into the arms of a Tennessee defender. And so it's a couple different things like that that I feel like if he maybe was more clear-headed, he could have gotten more gains out of that. Or, especially when you look at some of the other pop plays on the side, there could be a greater influence or a greater gain because of the way he moved in the pocket, right, to pull some of those defenders, especially getting rid of the ball a little bit later or getting rid of the ball maybe too early. So timing there made a little bit of difference. So again, didn't say that this game's on him as far as fault goes, but for all the things, for all the expectations, for all the hype and everything else, I just want a little bit more, B. I just want a little bit more.
I mean, I hear you. And overall in the season, sure, there's zero argument, right? It's definitely been far from what we wanted to see. I guess when I just look at it in this game, when you look at the runs he did have, right? And yes, he could have made a better choice to go one way versus another, but that's not necessarily where he excels. I think when you look at his throwing in this game, the mechanics were better, the accuracy was better, right? Like again, the rating is better to back that up. I just think he was totally handcuffed in this game by what we were calling versus what Tennessee had our number on. Like I
Hmm.
just don't think he had a chance in this one. Like, and that's not to take away fault from the other games that he had, right? But it was just so disappointing to me that I think he has started to play better here the last couple of games. I think Old Miss was a lot better too. And this game, like, I think he was playing better, maybe even better than he was playing, maybe even better than it was at Old Miss. And we just said, sorry, DJ, we're just going to take any chance you had and just rip that right away from you, and that's just the way that felt in this one to me. And that's I guess the point that I'm trying to make here, that it's so disappointing. No argument that for the season it's been a nightmare, with the way things have gone and how he's played and everything else, of course. But in this particular game, looking at it, like, I just think that's I'm just not going to put the blame there, I guess is what I'm saying. Has there been issues? Have there been concerns? Of course. But for me, it just falls on not his shoulders for this one. Now, from an attitude standpoint, it's a different conversation. We'll talk about that later. But anyway, let's move on. Let's talk defense. Break it down for us, Gator Bait.
Joey Aguilar, first year at Tennessee, folks. First year at Tennessee.
Not his
Amazing.
first year in college by a long shot, though. Let's be clear.
Fair. Fair, but to know that they picked him up very late after the Nico I'm a leaving saga,
Yep.
to be able to pick him up, get him installed, and get him working this offense, kudos to that staff. Joey Aguilar, QBR 120.27.
Yeah,
In the
that's pretty
famous
good.
words of Jim Carrey in The Mask, that was smoking.
Yeah.
4.86 yards per carry. Yes, sack yardage is in as Aguilar was moving. Um, Overall, 17 for 22, 77.3%, 204 yards, one touchdown, zero interceptions, a long of 23 yards, and one sack. So you got that. The other thing I'd like to add on that is Joey Aguilar has played 35 total games in college football. And guess what? As of Saturday night, all 35 games he has played, he has passed for over 200 yards in every single game. We
Yep.
had him under 200 yards until that last possession, but
Hmm.
of course, they drew something up perfectly, and he just barely got over at 204 yards to continue his streak. I was hoping, if anything else, we knew the win streak in the swamp was going to come to an end. I was hoping Joey Aguilar's passing streak can come to an end as well, but no dice. So there you go. Deshaun Bishop, running back, 24 attempts, 116 yards, 4.8 yards average. Star Thomas, 9 attempts, 73 yards. He only lost two for tackles for loss, but 71 total. With that long of 52, that break-off run, 7.9 average. And then Morris, 14 attempts, 45 yards and a long of 8, but nonetheless, the average of 3.2. This is unbelievable that we saw a Tennessee team come in here who's, again, Heupel is Heupel, downfield, throws the ball, moves the ball very well. And as I mentioned earlier, the plays. Tennessee got off 73 plays, folks. 51 rushing attempts. Can you say they game plan differently for us? Yeah, 17
Yeah.
passes, two punts. But here's the thing. Look at what we did as far as B, you mentioned earlier, too high safety look. Look at what we did from a too high safety look. What we did from that scheme that what does Ron like to do? Keep things in front, negate this, negate that, temper that. Well, guess what? Tennessee said, no problem. We're going to continue to run it until you stop it. And oh yeah, like kind of, kind of couldn't stop it.
Hmm.
So very little adjustments, especially coming out of halftime. I thought we would adjust a little bit and change some things. Now, mind you, I will say kudos because they were held scoreless in the second half. And that was I was worried about that score getting run up because they're looking at the win streak in the swamp. They're looking at all these other factors coming into play. And I know in halftime, Heupel's going 0-0. It's 0-0. We still got to
Hmm.
score. Okay, I saw Joey Aguilar over there on his bench imploring, begging his defense not to take their foot off the gas, continue the pressure.
Yep.
Okay, unbelievable. Couple of call outs. Aaron Childs continues to do very well. 9 total tackles, 3 solo, 6 assisted. Jaden Robinson was a
Yep.
problem. 9 total tackles, 4 solo, 5 assisted. Miles Graham. Continue to do Miles Graham like things. 8 total tackles, 6 assisted, 2 solo. Also half a tackle for loss. Good job. That was combined with Jeremiah McLeod, half a tackle for loss. Tyreek Sapp, I actually get to mention Tyreek Sapp's name. Holy
Yeah.
smokes. Tyreek Sapp, half tackle for loss for a couple of yards, and Jaden Woods with our only sack in the game. So there you go. Now, this year, we've had a lot of tackles made. We've had a game with 76 tackles. We've had a game with 82 tackles. We're probably averaging in the low 70s, high 60s. B, you want to take a guess how many tackles we had this game?
Yeah, I looked it up and I actually don't understand how it's possible if they only had 75 plays.
That's what I'm trying to figure out as well. I have no idea how, and I'm not sure if it's again, it makes zero sense to me. And I'm looking at it going, I that
Your
That
snap
can't make
count's right. I looked up the snap count on Gator Country just to make sure it jived. It's 75 snaps. The 75 is what they have it as because there's a couple punts that aren't going to be in there on the, on
correct.
just the offense and defense. So 75 was total snap count. So you're going to have some tackles there. And potentially on like kick returns and stuff like that, you could get a couple more. And they did have a bunch of kickoffs, right? But we didn't
Yes.
return any of those
No.
kicks. Maybe one, maybe.
Nope.
I don't think so though.
There was
So
none
yeah,
returned. Right.
I don't understand where all these extra tackles come from because the number, go ahead.
95.
Yep.
95,
Well,
folks.
can't give you an answer there. So that's
I
something we're gonna
really
have to, I
can't.
guess, do some research on as to how this
Exactly.
stuff gets statistically recorded. I know you can have shared tackles, but in theory, that should still only account for one tackle,
It should.
right?
It should.
So maybe it doesn't get recorded that way. Maybe there are statistical errors or differences and they give them both. I don't know. We're going to have to do some more digging into that because I don't understand how that's possible. That's something we've never really grappled with before. But we're gonna have to dig down that rabbit hole and find an answer. So if somebody knows, feel free to post it somewhere. That'd be fine. But I don't know the answer. I'll have to dig into it because it doesn't that math doesn't math in my head. But
No, not at
we'll have to
all.
look into it.
Exactly. So 31 solo, 64 assisted for 95 total. We had three tackles for loss, a total of 14 yards, one sack for 8 yards, a forced fumble, and a QB hurry. So there you go.
Yes,
Um,
another forced fumble that we could not recover.
that we could not recover. The Vols scored four touchdowns on their first four drives, outgained the Gators 248 to 22 with less than 7 minutes left in the first half. Holy smokes.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Okay,
That's
Tennessee,
ridiculous.
it is. Tennessee racked up 13 first downs before Florida managed its first down. Thank
Ooh.
thankfully to Jaden Baugh with a tough run on a third down, a 6 yard run. Folks, regardless of anything, this defense has had it's the tale of two halves with this defense because this defense started off in the top 30 and 40 in a lot of different categories, and they have slowly gone downhill. And here's the other thing too, folks, if you didn't realize, Caleb Banks was back for this game.
Yep.
Didn't finish it, but Caleb Banks was back. I thought that would be a good thing. Him plugging up the middle. I thought it would allow Tyreek to roam a little bit and create a little bit more havoc. Eh, not really. This defense was gassed. Tennessee had a lot of plays. This defense was on the field a long time, especially as we noted the time of possession discrepancy for sure. It was tired. We're down a lot of personnel. People are injured, especially when you look at a defense like this that has to be on the field 10 more minutes. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Not complimentary football, folks, in any way, shape, or form. I will say this as well. I'm going to call out two other guys in the middle there. Joseph Mbachu and Jeremiah McLeod are making things happen.
Yeah. They've been nice
Young
when they've had to play for sure.
right? Young guys making things happen. And then Alfonso Allen, wherever he came from, need more of him because he's doing some great things in the secondary. He's hitting people. He's getting there. He's got some speed. He's got a way about him. He's got a motor. That's awesome. Jaden Woods is doing Jaden Woods like things.
Yeah.
Jaden Robinson has pitched in. Of course, Aaron Childs coming back, doing some great things from injury in the offseason. Folks, we just, for whatever reason, we can't put it all together. The pieces are there, and B, especially, I mean, the offense is the offense, but this defense, to me, I agree with you, especially to start the season. It was flirting, borderline could be something amazing. We had a couple of guys, we had four guys come back that could have gone to the draft, could have tested those waters, whatever. I just hope that we can keep the majority. I know we can't keep all of it, but if we can keep the majority, and yes, 51 is still a majority, 51% over 50. But if we can keep the majority of it together to move forward, I I just hope we can keep some key pieces in place because
Yeah.
it's going to be really tough to see some of these people walk out the door. And I like what Miles Graham said about, hey, it doesn't matter who the coach is. Does I'm playing my dream. I'm a Gator. I'm wearing the orange and blue. That's awesome. But I don't really know how many other guys feel the same way, especially knowing what we're going to lose from an upperclassman standpoint. And that's all I have on Gator Baby.
Yeah, that's fair. And I would like that too. I'm honestly less worried about it than I was or I would have been because I feel like whoever we get in here is going to be able to leverage the portal a lot better than what we did. Um, and that's not to say that's how I want things to go. That's not my
Yeah.
preference, right? It's not what I want. But at the end of the day, I think because you have that as an option, I think we can still be okay, right? I think we can still do some things and make some good moves there and fill in the gaps that we need to fill in based on whatever those might be. Right now, I prefer your way for sure. That's the preference, but we may not get our wish there. I think it just kind of depends on how these things go and who the hire is and what it looks like. So we'll see what happens. See what happens.
Hmm.
But ultimately, I'm hopeful that we can keep a good amount of it together because I agree with you. It looked really good to start the season, and then you know in fairness, I think injuries really hurt it, right? We haven't talked a ton about it. We've mentioned it, but this defense is super injury depleted. Like
Sure.
the offense got hurt at receiver mainly, the defense got smoked at corner mostly, but some other places too. I mean, there's a lot of injuries on that defense, so it's tough. It's tough. And I think that really did put a dampening on what they've been trying to do, especially when the a lot of your secondary is hurt. That really makes it tough out there um, to do things you want to do. Even though I know that's not where we've necessarily been getting burnt. Um, I think it affects it because of how they're trying to play to make sure we don't get burnt. To your point. So, all right. Um, so defense. I talked about this on Saturday, but I've seen multiple articles so far that said we didn't show up and we didn't put out effort in this game. I haven't seen the quit word, but I've seen a lack of effort and didn't show up and yada yada yada. And I just didn't see that on film. I'm sorry, I did not see that. I absolutely saw effort. I saw hustle consistently throughout this game. Were there a couple plays? Yeah, sure. There were a couple plays, um, especially as it got a little deeper on. But this wasn't, I did not see anything that showed me that this team wasn't trying, that they weren't out there fighting, that they didn't want to win, that they didn't care. I didn't see that at all. That was not what showed up on film. What showed up on film was Heupel putting a scheme together that just flat out beat what we were trying to do to stop what he normally calls, right? So he put a plan together, or his defensive coordinator put a plan together to stop what we normally call an offense. And we normally called on offense what we normally call an offense. Shocker. Zero surprise factor there. However, if you go back and you look at the last several years that we've played Heupel, he pretty much calls the same stuff, right? They clear it out and they run up the middle, power running game. That's a staple of his offense. They did do that, but they actually didn't do it quite as much. They actually ran a little bit some trickier things. They kind of changed things up. Yes, there were runs in the A gap and stuff like that, but it wasn't like the straight up power run game quite as much as we've seen from them. So that was interesting. Passing game was where it really shocked me. When you look at the passing game of this offense, they typically run passes that are like 0 to 5 yards, right at the line of scrimmage and within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. And it's typically stuff that's like to the boundary, right to the outside, quick outs, quick gain, zero and one step drops, getting the ball out fast, or they'll look like they're going to do something like that or run play action and hit you with deep shots, right? That's what this offense is based on. Vertical passing game and quick game. That's what this offense does. They took one deep shot in this entire game.
Yes.
They smoked us in the mid-range passing game. 7 to call it 18 to 20 yards, something in that neighborhood, maybe not even quite 20. Absolutely all night, just obliterated us with crossing patterns, with motions, with stuff over the middle to the outside, but stuff in that range where our zone has consistently been vulnerable this year, by the way. Just the way that we play it, there's always gaps there. And they put all their speedy receivers in that zone where we're going to usually have linebacker or safety coverage responsibility, if any coverage responsibility, because we typically don't cover it well, which we didn't. And those guys were just wide open all night. And Aguilar's out there playing pitch and catch, which is why he started the game like 11 for 11 or whatever it was. It might have been 12 for 12. I don't remember how long it took him to miss a pass, but it was a while because everybody was wide open. Because these concepts that they were bringing were, again, things that Tennessee does not call with a lot of frequency. I'm not saying they never call it, but it's not their bread and butter. It's not what they call with a high degree of frequency. This is the stuff they might call when they need to pick up a 3rd down and 6 or something, right? No, they were doing it on 1st down. Like, we were not ready. We were not ready. And the thing about Roberts is, you said it. You said you wanted to see some adjustments at the half. I knew for a fact there would be no adjustments at half. Roberts doesn't adjust. He doesn't do that. It's not his thing. His thing is, hey, this is how I'm going to play you. This is what I'm going to do. Come and get it. Come and do something that's going to work against it. I'm going to let you pick me apart down the field from 5 to 15 yards. I'm going to give it to you every single play. Here it is on a platter. Take it. But I'm not giving you anything more than that. And usually I'm going to stop the run. Usually. Now, that was a problem in this game, obviously. And it's not normally a problem like that. We did bottle it up a little bit early on, and then obviously it got away. But typically, he's able to take away the run or any kind of explosive run, usually. That obviously has not been the case. And part of the problem there, again, as I go back to, is the line of scrimmage. I was shocked. I will say this. Caleb Banks' first play of the game absolutely blows up the guy he's playing against. I mean, he's in the backfield instantly. Absolutely instantly. Just destroys the guy he's on. And they run something like off counter, right? And the guy goes right by him. Running back goes right by him because they're not running power up the middle. I think they avoided the middle because they didn't want to see Caleb, because I think they knew Caleb was going to smoke him, and he would have had they been running more of that stuff up the middle, at least initially. Now, as the game wore on, and I think he got a little tired, right? He's just coming back. He was not as effective, to your point. But initially, he was blowing dudes up, but they were running around it. They were running by it. They were doing things differently. They were not doing the standard stuff that Tennessee would typically run. Had they have been, we would have annihilated it, at least early on. So, again, great game plan. Hats off to Josh. He smoked this thing. And again, Roberts is just not going to change. He's going to call what he's going to call. He's going to keep his 2 safeties deep. He's going to say, I'm not letting you go deep. Beat me underneath, death by 1,000 cuts, but I'm going to make you be patient enough to keep calling that over and over and over again and make you work methodically down the field every time. And the second you get greedy, I'm either going to hopefully pick you off, or best case scenario, force you into a 3rd and long, where then I could potentially come after you. But that didn't really happen. Heupel didn't let him do it.
Nope.
And he has let him do it in games when we played in past. We played this team very well historically, like from a defensive standpoint. They have not gotten what they've wanted against us. They've been able to take deep shots, but they haven't usually been there. And if they have, fortunately, they've missed them in past games that we've had against them, except going back to when we played Hendon Hooker in 22. Other than that, they really have not gotten the best of us in these games. Obviously, I know they won last year. They shouldn't have, but they did. We gave that game to them. 2 years ago, obviously, we beat them, and they have not been able to effectively score on us. It's been low-scoring games. Not this year. They changed the game plan. It worked, and they tore us apart. And it was all scheme. It was all scheme. They were calling stuff we have not seen. Go back and watch those games if you don't believe me. Those were not play calls you were seeing the last couple of years we played Tennessee. They just weren't. So that, to me, is the story of the game, again, on both sides of the ball, but especially with Tennessee on offense. So, and again, hats off to their O-line. Their O-line really dominated us up front, especially in the ways that they needed to, especially on the edges, I would say. And that really made a difference too. So that to me is pretty much the story defensively. As you mentioned, again, I don't think anybody played poorly. We had a lot of guys that had good games. We just couldn't do enough. The scheme had us smoked. So it's the same story on both sides. So at any rate, moving on. Visor throw.
Yes. Is that the Smoky Mountain game plan or some crap like that? Is that chalk it up to?
As I titled our pod on Saturday night, I think we got voluntold.
Fair.
So there you go. All right, moving on. Visor throw. I'm gonna keep this real short because we've complained plenty this season, and I'm pretty much done complaining, but because I'm over it, not because there's not plenty to complain about. Let's be clear. First thing I'll say is 2003. 2003. That was a long time ago. I wasn't even able to drink legally. So it's disheartening to see us lose this streak and have yet another negative mark attached to the 2025 team name. You presented some stats last week that were really ugly. We
Yeah.
could have another really ugly stat if we don't win this week. I'm going to leave that one alone for now. But yeah, because let's just hope it doesn't happen. But it'll be in visor
Yeah.
throw next week if it does, because it'll go back a lot longer than 2003. But that's a long time. That's a long time. 22 years is a minute, and that's a bummer. So really, really sucks losing that streak. To your point, very glad we did not lose a scoring streak. But yeah, second one I got is I mentioned this on Saturday, but the letdown that this team has been overall, based on the talent level, based on the potential they had to compete at a high level, and that's not manufactured, right? That's not media hype. That's not just on paper. It is partially on paper, but it's more than just that. We had returning production film proof of what this team could do, their actual
Yes.
capability on film. I could see it. I could watch what they could do with this offense and this defense, right? Same coordinators, same everything, at least in theory. And you come back with all of that, with another year of development, strength training, practice, right? Everything else, all the things that should have made you bigger, faster, stronger, better. And we're 3-8 and could be 3-9. I really hope we don't finish 3-9, but it is hard to have a lot of belief at this point, considering how things have looked this far. It will be difficult, and I mean difficult, to have a team disappoint me more from an exception standpoint than this team has potentially ever. But as we have learned, you never know what tomorrow brings. So there's that. That's all I got.
Wow. Did you actually try and peek at my notes? Because this is interesting.
I
My first,
we do not share notes once again.
no, this is wild. My first bullet point, Tennessee's first win in the swamp since 2003.
Yep.
And my second bullet point, to restart that streak, okay, in 26, we've got to go all the way. I mean, for another 22 years.
Well, we can't even restart it. We're not playing them.
And then there's my second my sub point is we won't have the opportunity because of the change in the SEC schedule. Bingo. WTF, why the face? It's just so disheartening in more ways than 10. Okay, next point. This loss, this loss, you would probably say this has been a bipolar season, a tumultuous season, I'm gonna go with disappointing season B. I agree with that. This is our eighth loss of the season.
Yeah.
Last time we went 8 losses was 4-8 in 2013.
Yep.
That was a tough year with Coach Boom, old Muschamp, staring down the sights. Hopefully we can play. I don't want to see a 9-loss season at all cost. Okay. Next up, under a minute to go until halftime. Marching down the field. We miss a 43-yard field goal. Tennessee marches down the field, hits a field goal, 2 seconds left to go up 31-0. At that point, and now I had fairly a decent amount of hope, thinking that we can come back in the second half and make a game out of it, get close. But after that exchange, said no, we're done. Game's done. It's over. Forget it. Joey Aguilar on his throw, on the fumble, the ball's loose. What do we do? What do we do?
Try to hero
Brendan
ball
Vett,
instead of falling on it.
fall on it. Just fall on
Yep.
it. Just fall on it. Be
Yeah,
happy
that was
you got a
Mbachu,
turn.
wasn't it?
No,
It wasn't Mbachu that tried to pick it up and run. I thought it was.
I thought it was Bet.
Oh, it
So,
could have been. It could have been Bet. You're right. It could have been Bet.
and what is he trying to do? In my opinion, he's trying to big man run, scoop and score,
Yep.
whatever you want to call it. Just fall on the ball and get
Yep.
the offense back to football. Period. And then last but not least, 2 minutes to go, second quarter. That was our first snap in Tennessee territory after Lagway's 38-yard run. First
Yep,
snap.
that's right.
And of course, the play right after that, Lagway goes right. He stumbles over Damian George, trips him, friendly fire. That happens. And then the next thing you know, it's 4th and long. Of course, we line up for a field goal. We miss the field goal. Holy cow, what a segment of plays to just add to the insult that is the injury that started with the insult. And
Yeah,
that's that.
10 games since Trace Max missed a field goal too. Had been perfect since game one.
Exactly. Exactly. Went 2 for 5. After that, he's been money ever since, and for whatever reason, and that just goes to show you how bad things have been, right? It's like the domino effect, right? Or when it rains, it pours. And boy, I'm telling you, folks, it is pouring on the Gators right now in ways that we cannot explain. There's some spirit stuff at work. There's some voodoo stuff at work, and it's don't drink the water, team. Don't drink the water. Get a different batch of Gatorade. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, for real.
That's it,
That
man.
wrap you up?
Unfortunately. Well,
Yeah,
fortunately, yes.
fair enough. Fair enough. All right, moving on. Hatchlings, recruitings. Continue to see flip predictions, but still no flips. At this point, it's actually getting kind of crazy. Um, we are the only team, I saw this come out last week, that has fired their coach, and there's a lot of teams that have fired a coach, that has not lost a commitment. Um, I got to give some credit somewhere to somebody. I'm not sure who deserves the credit, if it's the interim staff or administration or, as you said, Jacob LaFrance. Um, that we have done this good a job at getting guys to just take a wait and see approach. Now, what I wonder is, has all the Kiffin buzz kept recruits on? And if Lane announces next Saturday or this Saturday, and I don't know that he's going to announce anything, he's saying something, but I don't know what. If he announces that he's not coming here, does that bring down the waterfall? Right?
Right.
Has it been that they've been waiting for? Or are they genuinely just waiting to see who the coach is and they'll make their decision from there? I don't know, but we're getting awfully close to signing day for them to not start flipping if that isn't what they're waiting on. So I'm genuinely curious, can we really sign this class or even close to this class, right? Because even if we lost Brana and Ford, it would still be a decent class because those are
Yes.
the two that have really been talked about the most. If we really held those, and I suppose they could sign and then just hit the transfer portal in January if they didn't like the hire. But still, would they really do that? Would they really go through that? I think they're waiting to see if Kiffin comes. That's what I think. And if he doesn't, watch out. This recruiting class bottom just might drop. That's my thought. I'm not trying to call for it. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I don't know. I'm not in these kids' heads. But it is crazy. It is crazy that a 3-8 team has held their entire recruiting class with no coach.
Yeah.
That's bonkers. That's bonkers. So either somebody's doing something really right or paying a lot of money, or
Yes.
or or they're just waiting to see what happens with Lane. So those are my only thoughts on recruiting. What do you got?
No, I mean everything on three is the same, right? 19 commits, blah blah blah, all this other crap. The one thing I will point out, I'm not sure if you saw it, B, but Will Griffin had a post a few days ago on X, committed 100%, go
Yep.
Gators.
Yep.
And Griffin had tagged a couple of other people, Brana, JaVale McCoy, right? So all those things. So is Griffin out there doing some recruiting? Because we know Lagway did some recruiting after he was a very early commit for this program under Napier. Will Griffin was a very early commit, and so you got to wonder in the back of your head. My thought, in all honesty, the bag. There, there's money. There's a
I mean,
tie. Great call out as far as waiting on Kiffin. Will it happen? Will it not happen? Who's it going to be? But either way, it's really nice to see a lot of that going on, regardless of this new era of college football and the bag.
yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Again,
Yeah.
early national signing day, December 3rd. We will have a pod following that. to break all that down and what happens there and what this class looks like, based on who signs. So we will see what happens, and we will keep you updated from there. We might even end up doing that before our season review breakdown, because
that'd
of
be good.
timing.
Right.
Yeah. So with that, moving on. Pride of the Sunshine. I will have you get us started here. Culture, talk to me. What are we seeing? What are we thinking? What do we got?
Happy to. First thing is, didn't expect us to look flatter than pancakes coming home for the first time in 4 weeks. True, we did confirm Tennessee threw some different things at us, literally and figuratively, more like ran a few things differently at us. But at the end of the day, when I looked at some of these players and their disposition, it was really hard to watch from that perspective. DJ's eyes. No, this is not a song. I'm just saying DJ's eyes. His eyes to me tell a lot of what's going on inside of him. And I see signs of confusion, frustration, just lost. Lost. I saw the biggest burst of emotion I saw out of him on that 38-yard run. Should there have been emotion? Should there not have been emotion? Should there have been, that's what I expect out of myself. Now let's get back to work. I don't know. Is he handcuffed by play calling? I'm sure. I'm sure. Anyways, regardless of the fact, I hope we don't turn into the Chicago Bears and what the Bears organization have been by destroying the talent from young quarterbacks. Hopefully DJ can bounce
Ooh,
back. We'll see.
okay.
I know it's a big claim.
No, it's a strong call out of the Bears there. I like it. I like it.
I'm I'm just saying, yep, yes, Caleb Williams doing very well this year, but of course Ben Johnson came over from Detroit. That is what it is. Okay. Um, the student section taking their shirts off.
Hmm. Interesting.
Interesting. They
Thoughts?
they've had enough.
Yeah,
I
I
get
don't
it. It's
blame
like,
them.
oh, okay. Don't want to represent?
I give them credit for staying.
Absolutely give them credit for staying, right? Next thing. The playing of Even the Losers by Tom Petty
Yeah.
after the game. Great call, great find, great song, great mention, great troll. Great
Yeah,
troll.
solid,
And
solid.
in case any of you are wondering, the lyrics go something to the effect of "Baby, even the losers get lucky." No, I'm not going to sing. Get lucky sometimes. Even the losers keep a little bit of pride. They get lucky sometimes. There's that. Um, it was a little bit gut wrenching there for a minute, but the nation's largest scoring streak is intact at 472 and counting. Yay. Um, Tennessee lost 10 straight in the swamp, dating back to 2003. Hard, very hard to part with that streak. Very tough. Okay. Florida is at risk. And B, you said it earlier. You mentioned it. You didn't say it. I'm gonna have to say it.
Don't do it. Not yet. We haven't done it yet.
Okay.
You can
All I'm
mention it
saying
next
is,
week. Not
all
yet.
I'm saying is, we need to score. We need to put points on the board next Saturday at the Swamp. We need to put
Oh,
points on the
you can
board.
mention that one. You can mention that one. That's not what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. Florida is at risk of scoring under 30 points in every single game this season, with the exception of LIU, because of course, not an FBS team.
Right.
Oh my gosh. We know coming out of LIU that it was a 55-0 win. That's fine. It is what it is. The Sharks. But folks, seriously, there are some things we called out in that game in the first half that were kind of cringy. Guess what? We were right to call them out. Things did not look right. Things did not seem right. And guess what? Things were not right. And that's how this season has ended up. Okay?
Yep.
Urban Meyer, regardless of what people think about him when he was here in his tenure from '05 to 11, right, wrong, indifferent, behind the scenes extracurriculars, folks, we have two natties, and Meyer was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame. And believe it or not, I know people said this would never happen. He will be placed into the Ring of Honor in 2026.
Yeah, it is interesting that is happening. I think it's just based on that they've gotten it down to like a certain criteria now, and he meets the criteria. So I think that's kind of how they're justifying it or whatever.
Right.
Or maybe justifying isn't the right way of saying that, but like I think that's how they're saying, okay, he gets in because of X, Y, and Z,
X, Y,
right?
and
Because
Z.
he meets
Yeah,
these criteria, just like the others that get in meet this criteria and so on and so forth. Like Tebow, like current state anyway, will not get in because he did not do the things in the NFL he needed to get in. So like their NFL criteria based on what I know about it that you have to achieve. It's not just college or whatever. If you're a player, coach wise, it's different.
coach
But
wise
like
different.
if you're a college player, you have to also do things in the NFL to get in. I believe based on what I'm remembering. I'm going off the top of my head from that, but I'm pretty sure that's right. Um, you have to achieve things in the pro career as a player in order to get into it as well. It's hard to get into. Like they make it elite for a reason. And it's
For a
crazy to me
reason.
that Tebow won't get in, but like according to what I've been told, like he won't.
That's
So
wild.
yeah, it's
And
wild. But
then
yeah, you can look it up. There's like certain criteria and stuff. But like with the coaches, it's different because the coaches, it is just college achievement. Um, but because he made the college, you have to make one of the Hall of Fame, either the Pro Hall of Fame or the College Hall of Fame, and then you have to win a title in either college or pro or whatever, and so on and so forth.
yeah.
So yeah,
And then the last, my second to last thing, the Gators run into the tunnel right in front of their 17th consecutive sellout.
yeah, yeah.
Even though it turned
Kudos.
ugly, to your point, they showed up, they were there, shirts off and all. Yes, a lot of fans departed during halftime. A lot of fans departed at the end of the third quarter after playing won't back down. I get it, but at the end of the day, this Gator Nation decided to show up. They made a decision to, not even sure what kind of product they were going to get, but 17th consecutive sellout with this record, with this team during this tenure. This is still the Napier era, folks, even though he's not here anymore. Here's what it is. And then my last one, down 21-0. Tennessee was about to score again and breaking several tackles. He should have been tackled 30 yards ahead, but whatever. He was in a pile. He bumped out of the pile. He goes down the sideline. Devin Moore chased down to try and punch the ball out. Great opportunity. Great effort, Devin. He never quit, as well as a lot of other players. But that just helps me believe that a lot of guys are still there trying, doing what they can, whether it's their contract year or not. They're still part of that culture that Napier talked about, that he tried to instill, that he tried to install and build up as far as playing for each other, playing for your brothers, playing for the patch, all those things. And some of that, again, like you said, B, we're not sure it's going to happen with National Signing Day. We'll see what happens depending on when the new coach is named. But a lot of those things still seem to be intact, especially with the post-game report, post-game conference, a lot of self-ownership, or a lot of ownership, a lot of we didn't do good enough, this wasn't good enough, this wasn't good enough, we didn't do this, we didn't do that. And that's all I got for Pride of the Sunshine. What do you
All
got?
right, that was a lot. It's more than I thought you'd have.
Me
But
too.
that's good. So my comment is purely on culture on the field. Um, as I already mentioned, I thought the team did overall show a lot of fight. But as Randy and I discussed via text during the game, there were some serious issues that we both took with Lagway's body language, as you did bring up in yours. And I am going to call out his behavior after that run. How you go from being mostly dejected and down and everything else, which is not necessarily not understandable, right? With how the game's
Sure.
going and everything else. I'm okay if you're not upbeat with how things are going. That's fine. But as soon as you make the big run, you're celebrating and making grand gestures.
Yeah.
I'm fine with the celebration of a big play. Always fine with that in general. But when you've been basically moping around the whole game, even when your teammates have had good plays, and then once you have a good play, you're all hype, even though you're down 28 points, not a fan. Not a fan. That shows selfishness. That shows me attitude, which is not what I thought DJ was about at all, not things he showed me. And listen, I don't know him. I'm not saying he doesn't have a great character and isn't, still an excellent young person and everything else. I'm not saying any of those things. I don't have reason to believe that in general. I'm just saying I did not love that at all. That did not display to me a leadership character in that moment. You're getting trounced. You've been looking like you're getting trounced. And then once you make a big play, you're going to first down, double arm, call it out stuff. No, man. Put your head down and get back to work. And you know better.
Yep.
You know better. That was poor, to say the least. You want to get up and fist pump or something and try to get hype and get your team up around you, fine. But I don't need dancing type moves after it, Touchdown, sure, fine. But just a big play on the field? Come on. Getting fired up's one thing, but that was I just was not a fan. I was not a fan. I thought that did not show a great character, a character that I think I've seen from DJ for the most part. But again, I don't know where his head's at. You mentioned it. But I'd like to see some better leadership type qualities out of him. Let's get the team fired up around you. Let's not worry about just, kind of a self-promoting type thing, which is what I saw and took away from that. I don't think that's firing your team up doing that. Let's go fire the huddle up instead. How about that? That's all I got. Moving on.
Well said.
Yeah, I just didn't care for it. All right, officiating. Move back, you suck. And at least in the first half, they definitely sucked. I got some very questionable stuff going on in the first half. You and I were definitely talking back and forth about it. So first off, I did not have this initially, but I've read some stuff about it, and so I'm going to call it out and get your take on it here. The hold call on Barber for the ball play that got called back on the first drive there. So I've read up on it. It's called a snatch trap that Barber executed on that play, and it's actually a technique to be able to bring down your opponent and kind of put them in, basically a modified pancake is what they're referring to it as. It's called a snatch trap technique, and it is not holding. It's not. It's a legal play. It's inside the shoulder pads, right? You get them inside the collar. So it is not holding by the definition. So it is a legal technique according to everything that I have read. So I would love to get your thoughts on that when I get done here, because according to the research that I was able to do, that should not have been a flag. So interesting there. That's number one. After that flag that was thrown, potentially erroneously, but again, I always defer to Randy on this stuff since he's got experience with officiating here. There were count them three, very poor missed calls in Tennessee's favor. There was a hold or a block in the back, take your pick of what you want to call it, on Jaden Woods on the next series. He was absolutely put down from behind after getting through the line of scrimmage on his way to Aguilar, but was not able to get there because of said penalty. Not called. Then there was a false start on Tennessee near the goal line. That the defense called out, started waving their hand. They even ran a replay, and there's Herbie and Fowler saying, yep, he jumped. No flag. Then there was illegal contact, and that could have the order of this off, but there was illegal contact or PI, depending on your perspective. Take your pick, either one. It was a foul. This is when we had the ball. On Tennessee, not called, no matter what Bill, whatever his stupid name was, that had all kinds of just ridiculous comments all night long on the broadcast team. That dude was all over Tennessee on the broadcast. That was ridiculous. And says, oh, no, it's just incidental contact after he mugs Sturdivant like 8 yards downfield in the middle of his route, or maybe it was Vernell. I don't remember if it was Vernell or Sturdivant, but literally completely impedes his route. I think it was Vernell, actually. Completely impedes his route. So there's no way, at a minimum, it's not at least illegal contact. Now, you could argue maybe it's not PI because the ball wasn't in the air when the bulk of the contact happened, but there is no way it is not illegal contact or defensive holding, one of the two. Period. It's not an option. There's no way that was not a flag. I don't care what their rules expert said in the booth, because that was trash commentary and a trash no call. That's all I got. Thoughts? Oh, excuse me. I do have one more. It's not on a flag. I just want to call out that, again, these would not have changed the outcome of the game. We would not have won had these calls gone the other way. But as we always like to point out, it potentially could have made this game more competitive. And most importantly of all, we believe in talking about all aspects of the game. Officiating is an aspect, and we try to call out what we see. Straightforward. If there's a bad call that affected the other team, we talk about that too, just like we did with Ole Miss last week. So I feel that always needs to be called out because this isn't like we're just trying to bash officials or do it for the sake of promoting Florida. No, when the officials are good, we say, thought it was a good officiated game. So I think that's really an important thing to call out in this. We just like to have it as a part of this, especially because of Randy's expertise in being a high school official. So with that, turned over to you. Love to get your take on that snatch trap, especially.
So a couple things, folks. Officiating as a base point is bang bang. We know that there is human error. I will say this, when it comes to holding, and I had this at a playoff game. I was at a playoff game last Friday night because it is playoff season for high school football, and I had another official that was behind me, a deep wing, throw a flag for a play of holding. And we got together and we discussed. He goes, "Hey, did you see this on the?" I said, "I saw it. However, here's what I saw. Okay, if that holding call is egregious, a jersey is twisted, a man goes down, whatever the case might be, and it affects the outcome of the play, it creates an advantage, then yeah, absolutely throw it. The reason why I did not throw the flag in that particular play that I'm describing is because the carrier of the football was past the play. Was past the play. The effect that the hold had was none on the actual play that would have resulted in more yardage gained. So that's some of the things that I look at. Snatch trap, this trap, that trap, your mama's trap. I don't, B, you got me there because, again, some of the rules are different from Friday night than they are Saturday than they are on Sunday. But
All
at the
right.
end of the day, the one thing that I would concede is because of what Barber did, legal or not, did that affect that defensive lineman getting to Lagway
No,
any sooner before the ball was released from his hand?
not a chance.
Not a
I
that's
mean, he could
that's
he
where
could
we
he
get
could have
into.
he could have sidestepped and let him free run to Lagway, and he wouldn't have gotten there in time.
Correct. So from that standpoint, does it impede, does it create an advantage for the offense or the defense with the move? And that's what we look for. That's keyword, advantage or leverage, right? One can say, oh, the reason why you call a holding call is because they would have gotten to the quarterback and would have affected the quarterback, especially because we know that holding takes place on almost every play in some way, shape, or form, some more egregious
Yep.
than not.
Yep. And it's the same thing we talked about with the Najee Harris hold when we had the 93-yard Jaden Ball touchdown against
Called
LSU.
back.
Yeah, it's like all these because it's the same thing, right? Would he have been able to get to DJ before he made that pass? No, he would not have been. Hold or no hold, and that hold was also somewhat debatable in my opinion, but maybe more or less debatable than this one. But regardless, again, you're not getting there. So that's what's so
Right.
crazy about these calls to me, man. It's like it feels sketch at times. It really does, and I'm not saying it's a Florida conspiracy or anything like that, but
No,
it really does feel sketch at times. The stuff they choose to call and when they choose to call it, and it's like, man, that's that. Some of them are just tough. Not all of them, but some of them, man. It's just like, wow, you're calling that one in that moment, in that situation, on that part of the play. Like, really? It's just, I mean, it's just tough. This one especially was tough. I saw it and I was like, okay, yeah, if that's a hold, I guess. Like, I mean, again, to the point, I didn't know then about the snatch strap thing, but like, I, regardless of that, to your point, he wasn't getting there.
he was that's the point. It was not going to create an advantage
Yeah, no way.
because that lineman had no chance of getting to Lagway before he released the football.
No.
Correct.
Yeah.
Second thing, the false start on Tennessee, besides Herbie saying it, besides Fowler saying it, besides the defensive line pointing, even the offensive lineman was like, oh crap, I'm cooked. And then they
Yep.
don't throw it. And then all of a sudden, all the linemen look up as if they're trying to get the play in from the sideline.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beyond me.
Yeah. It's
Absolutely
wild.
beyond me. Ridiculous. The third one, here's the thing. The on VB3, that's almost a pick route, right?
Yeah.
It's
Well,
almost a pick.
but by the defender, it was almost a pick. The defender picked him.
Correct. Correct. So VB3, and I think it was VB3 coming
I
across.
think it was.
And
Yeah. Yeah. I said
you get
serve at first, but I think it was VB3. Yeah.
right. So based off of that, any route that's impeded, right? It's a hold, it's whatever you want to call it, because you can call a number of things back there. But either way, regardless of what it was a hold, it was a pick, it was a what. Guess what? The flag should have been thrown.
Yeah.
Flag should have been thrown. The two others, I'm not sure if you had these, but I'll call them out real quick. Um, at the end of this midway through second quarter, end of second quarter, yeah, end of second quarter. Okay, Tennessee's marching. There's a run play to the left. The pile collapses. Okay, everybody's getting up. A Tennessee lineman trips Aaron Childs. I'm not sure if you
Oh,
remember
I
that.
didn't see that. I did not see that actually.
Trips Aaron Childs. He falls backwards. Aaron Childs, no flag. And the umpire is probably about 3 to 5 yards away.
Hmm.
Unreal. And then the last one I'll call out is the roughing the passer on Aguilar. Listen,
Oh yeah, that was terrible. I forgot about that one. Good call.
okay, listen. He is outside the tackle box. He's gotten rid of the football. It was bang bang. You couldn't
Total
get to
bang bang.
1001. You could not get to 1001 and say that towards the end before Aguilar was hit. I'm just
I
saying.
don't think you could get to 1,001 in slow motion.
Okay. Bang bang. And not to mention he didn't go for his legs. He
No.
didn't go for his knees. He
Didn't
didn't go
fall
for
on
his
him.
helmet.
Didn't fall on him. Didn't put his weight on him.
Nope.
Nothing.
Nope.
There's
It was
no
a
cause for that.
great
That
hit.
was
It was a big hit. It was a great hit. It was a forceful hit, but it was not malicious, dirty, late, none of those
no,
things. Should
no.
not have been called. And that's that.
That was terrible. Good call. Good call. I forgot about that one. It's a good call.
And
Yeah, that was a terrible flag. You're right.
I do have one last thing. Daniel Gautreau, yes, Louisiana born, was the referee for this game. He's been some hot water over the years for some calls, and but yet continues to officiate and is a white hat in a big time
He just
SEC
wants
game.
Lane to go to LSU, so he wanted to make this look uglier. That's all that is.
There you go. There you go.
I've heard a lot of people make that case too, and I don't understand it. Like this game being more lopsided makes Lane want to go to LSU more. I'm like, what? Like
Yeah.
I don't even understand some of the stuff I'm reading on that. That's why we're not talking about that, by the way. If anybody was looking for Lane updates, we are not. Lane will tell us what he's going to tell us on Saturday night. We are not going there. There's
Or Sunday
so
morning.
much
Yeah.
ridiculous stuff going on. I'm not even giving it the time of day. So we'll see what happens. We know offers have been made by both schools. That's all we're going to say.
Yes.
Because it is absurdity out there with all of the ridiculousness in the rumor mill. I mean, it's absurd. It's absurd. So we'll leave that alone. All right. Good stuff. Thank you for the perspective as always there. Let's wrap it up. Tell us where we go from here. One more game. What do we got? What are your thoughts?
4-8. 4-8.
Buddy, I hear you.
Please.
I hear
Four
you.
and eight. Please. Conference play's already done. We're 2-6. That is what it is. Billy G. Billy G needs a win as an interim coach. I'm a fan of Billy G, believe it or not. We need a win for him, interim coach.
Yeah, man.
It's Florida State. It's after Thanksgiving. It's the swamp. You know what's funny? I've been giving the past few games a theme, whatever. This game, because of how we started, yeah, agreed. Tennessee threw a lot of different things at us, but this game, I'd give it Sleepy Hollow because that's what we looked like a lot of times. Like
Yes.
we're just sleepwalking, and Tennessee's in third gear, like about to drop it into fourth. Like what the hell? Okay, we need to. I mean, you know what? We just throw all the chips in, man. It's the last game of the season, senior night. Go out with a bang. Play for something. Play for somebody. Play for the patch. Play for the name on the back. Play for your parents. Play for your family. Play for something. Leave it all out on that field and make something amazing. Make something good happen at the end of an absolutely forgettable season. That's it.
I love it. I love it. That's I'm right there with you. The only place I want us to go from here is to a victory against FSU. So I'm right there with you, 4-8. But
Yes.
again, do the players on this team care? I'd like to think that they do, based on what I've seen in the last couple of games, right? We've seen enough in the last couple of games, or I think I've seen enough. You may disagree with me a little there in this one, but I've seen enough from an effort standpoint
Mm-hmm.
and from a drive standpoint and what I've seen in terms of the way that they played that I think they care enough. It's senior day, so I hope that matters,
Yeah.
right? I hope we come out fighting. I love your Billy G thought there. I think that's great. Um, this is the first team on our schedule that might be as dysfunctional as we are. So I do feel we got a shot, right, at winning, despite all our flaws, despite the play calling nightmares, despite everything else. But we also just can't go out there and just show up, right, and think we're going to win. That's not going to work, right? We have to go out there and put it all out on the line because the fact that it is a rivalry game means they're going to do the same, right?
Oh yeah.
Regardless. And they do have a little more to play for, unfortunately, because they can get to a bowl. Now, maybe that doesn't matter to them. Maybe it does. Maybe it adds something to it. I hope the fact that we can prevent them from getting to the bowl adds something to
Hey.
ours. I hope. I hope. Again, I don't know how much that's being talked about or not. Um, you know, they didn't really play the rivalry angle this week. They talked about that. They didn't really talk that much about it and play that up. I hope they don't make that mistake again. They need to play up that angle, right? Because the players have to want it and the coaches do too. And they got to at least try to call some stuff, particularly on offense, to give us a chance to move the ball effectively. I know it's not going to be anything crazy out of the box. That's definitive at this point, right? We are not mixing it up. I get it. But some of the stuff that has worked, right? Go back, check a little film, see what's worked well, at least somewhat consistently, and do some of that, right? At least put some of that in the game plan a little bit, please. Please do something that makes at least a little bit of sense. Maybe you start to find a little bit of rhythm here and figuring some of this stuff out. We did see some things, especially against Old Miss that worked pretty well. Can we do that again? We'll find out. I'm still going to hope. I'm never going to not hope that we can beat Florida State. Never. But yeah, we'll see. All right. Moving on. Keep it or pitch it. It's getting dicey. I'm mounting a late night comeback, late night rally. 2-1 last week to 1-2. I am now
Wow.
16-17 to 18-15. I didn't think it could be done. I did not think it could be done after back to back 0-3 week seasons earlier on, or something close to that. I at least had 2 in a row. To your 3-0 juggernauts that you were putting up, it was craziness. But yeah, we are close. Regardless of what happens this week, I just hope I can go 2-1 so I can get over 500 no matter what. That is my goal. So, recap of last week: Tennessee ranked 43 in the nation for rushing yards, 176.7. We were 57th in the nation at 143.2. Not anymore. In yards allowed, we said we would, the keeper to pitch it was that we would hold Tennessee to under 150. We both pitched that. Yeah, got that one right. Not even close at the 248 or whatever it was, 243. I don't remember. It was up there. UF ranks 69 in the nation for time of possession at 29 minutes. Volunteers rank 130 in time of possession due to the hurry up and explosives at 25 minutes. The Gators will control the game and possess the ball for at least 34 minutes. I pitched it. You kept it. That's the one I won, and you did not get, thus the discrepancy there. And lastly, the one we both missed: Tennessee ranked number 2 in scoring at 43.4. We should have known better, buddy. And the Gators tied 62nd, allowing 23.6. We said we would limit Tennessee's scoring prowess on Saturday in the Swamp, holding them to under 28 points. And we both kept that. Not so much. Though it wasn't
Not
that
so
far off
much.
at 31. I mean, we weren't like way off, but could have been a lot worse.
Still. Yeah.
Could have been a lot worse. Couldn't hold them to under 28 and a half. Anyway, all right. So on to the criminals. Okay, here we go. Florida ranks number 65 now in scoring defense. That number just keeps climbing, allowing 24.27 points per game. Florida State is ranked number 24th in scoring at 34.1 points per game, so not quite as high. The Gator defense will allow, once again, less than 28 points on Saturday. So same number as last week, but with a much more tameable opponent on scoring wise. Keep it or pitch it.
Uh, my mind tells me pitch it, but my heart says keep it. And that's the thing. Rivalry game, everything on the line, senior night, all the things that we mentioned earlier.
Yep.
So on that basis, I'm going to keep it.
All right, so I'm keeping it as well.
Oh,
Again, this is something where we have shown a propensity to do well, historically anyway, against Melzon coached offenses with the schemes that we have run, whether it was
sure.
Armstrong against Arkansas, other than that fourth quarter and KJ going nuts on us. But
Yeah.
in general, we held them very well. Last year against UCF, we totally shut them down, right, defensively. Now, it's not the same talent, but still the concepts, the schemes, we Roberts knows how to handle this pretty well, I think. And again, Armstrong was his disciple back when he was doing it. We're the way this defense is set up, the way it's formulated, it guards against the deep vertical shots they like to take pretty well. It takes away a lot of the stuff in the running game they like to run. The only wild card is Castellanos. What do we do against him and running the ball? We typically employ a spy. We've been pretty good against running quarterbacks for the most part this season so far, knock wood. We need to do it again. So that's going to be the thing. But I'm with you. I think we can keep it. I think there's data to support that. Historically, we'll see what happens. All right. Next up, Florida ranks number 77 in rushing defense at 152.7 per game. Florida State is ranked number 11 in rushing offense at 223.4. The recent problem that we have had, right, with the rushing attack. The Gators will hold the Criminals to under 190. We gave it a little breathing room. We went it up to 190. Under 190. Keep it or pitch it.
Same reasons. Keep it.
Yep, I'm keeping it as well. So we
Okay.
will have two of the same. So you will beat me this year based on those picks. Congratulations, sir. No matter what the outcome is. Very well
Fair
done.
enough. Appreciate
But
that.
yeah, absolutely. And I'm not trying to give you the win, but I can't, I'm not just going to make a different pick just to try and win. So like I said, being over 500 is more important to me, and that's what I'm going to go for. All
There you
right.
go.
FSU currently ranks 102nd in the nation in total turnover margin for the season at -4 combined. So overall for the year, they are -4 in total turnover margin. Florida will increase that margin by at least one during this game on Saturday. So in other words, they will be net one less turnover than Florida State. So if they have one turnover, we will have zero. If they have three turnovers, we will have two, so on and so forth. Or more. Could be more, that's fine, but at least one. Keep it or pitch it.
Yeah, we did this last year. We did a couple of years, and that's the thing. When this turns into a slugfest, the ball's going to go bobbling, stumbling, bumbling, fumbling. But we're going to do less of it. So I'm going to keep it as well, B.
Yep, I am keeping it also. So we are all the same this week. We are locked in on
Wow.
this. So yeah, we will see what happens. I hope. I just hope that we go at least 2-1 and get over 500. So no matter what, we're keeping the margin for this one, and that's all good.
There you go.
So interestingly enough, there's a reason why we put that last one in, and it ties back to the Sims, but I'll get there in a minute. So Sims recap. We'll do 2 for 1 here. We'll get to Tennessee since I couldn't do it last week. Just a quick recap. We went 3-7 in our 10
Yeesh.
game Sims. Yeah, at home, 3-7. Yikes. And a lot of interesting variations in the outcomes, but the key stat for it was that we needed to be better than them on third down conversion.
Ha.
For the record, that was 2-9 to 9 for 13. So 2 for 9 for us, 9 to 13 for them was the actual third down conversion stats, and you saw the scoreboard. So with that being the case, I'd say NCAA nailed that one. Not only the outcome, but the fact that that number being so distorted in Tennessee's favor made the outcome just as distorted. So there you go. It pegged that one. So again, been getting better here as we move through the year. Been getting a lot more accurate. The key stats pretty much been on point when we could find it. I know we didn't have one for Ole Miss. But yeah, overall, it's been really good. So to that end, FSU 8-2 in favor of Florida. So a much better outcome predicted by the game. Lots of different results here. Some of them were close, some of them were blowouts, but the key factor was always turnover margin. However, turnover margin including fourth down conversion. I have to put that in there.
Mm.
So there were games where the turnover margin was 0-0, but Florida State went 0 for 6 on fourth down, and we won. There was one game actually where everything was zeros, or I think we both went like 1 for 2 on fourth down, and then turnovers were zeros, and we still won. So the point is, we just cannot lose the turnover margin battle in this game.
Right.
according to this, and we'll be fine. That's what the outcome showed. The games where we lost it, including fourth down, we lost the game.
I
So there's your key stat. Nothing really of note to really point out in anything else. The third down stuff was all over the map. The time of possession was typically in our favor, I think in almost every game, but it was pretty close. So nothing really there that stood out. Again, points were all over the place. A couple high games, mostly low games, I will say, in terms of overall scoring, but nothing that really stood out. Otherwise, that I would say, hey, keep an eye on this too. It was all about the turnover margin, and there were a lot of turnovers. I mean, a lot. Couple +3 games both ways, couple +2 games both ways, but just in general, a ton of turnovers. So don't be surprised if there are turnovers. Again, not all of them had that, but there were definitely a lot that did. So with that, we will close things out here and wrap it up. Be sure to stay tuned for our reaction on First Bites after that game. And thanks to everybody for listening in and staying with us through the analysis. One more week to go, and we can get to the off season, which I didn't think I'd be looking forward to this much. I got to tell you. So take us home and sign us off, bud.
Yeah, man. B, great episode. Thanks for the therapy as always, Gator Nation. With Thanksgiving coming up this week, happy Thanksgiving to all of you. We are thankful for all of you and your downloads and your support of the thing that we love doing. And wherever you are, whenever you may be listening, thank you for taking the time, and we will see you around, Gator Nation.